on, Big Lou, bringing you the best in New York Giant sports talk and entertainment.
That phrase is trademark, not to producer Ricky Bobby.
I have to trademark everything. Thanks again there, Ricky Bobby. What's going on, Giants Nation? What's going on in the land of the Giants? So many things are happening. Oh, it's going to come in fast and furious for the next couple days, and I'm not talking about Vin Diesel. I'm talking about the Giants, the trades, the cuts, the restructures, the everything. You know, and one of the players that Giant, not me in particular, but a lot of what player that a lot of Giants Nation is focused on is a certain wide receiver.
Stafford to the end zone, and the catch is made by Golladay.
Let's see if he got the feet down, because he just took this one from DeAndre Baker, the rookie. There's 1 foot down. There's 2 feet down. That's a touchdown.
Kenny Golladay has been the object of affection now for the last couple of weeks for Giant Nations. The only problem is, and I think that we need to be realistic about it again, is the fact that we're not going to have the money. Kenny is probably going to want anywhere between, I would say, it's going to be his payday because he's 27 years old. You figure his contract may be in excess of 5 years, $80 million. So he's going to probably want anywhere between $15 to $17 million in this new deal. And that's what he's going to want. And that's probably what he's going to command in the open market. Because you figure Amari Cooper's making 20. Cooks with the Saints is making 16. Michael Thomas is making 19. Odell is making 18. You know, is he comparison on all those players? No, but he's just as good. I think he's just as good as Cooper and Cooks. I think, I just think that's, well, Cooks isn't on the Saints anymore, is he? No, he got traded, whatever. But I think he's got higher value than they do. So the problem is when you turn around and put a cap hold on my old buddy,
King of the almost sack,
Leonard Williams at $19.4 million, or technically, or maybe 21.3. You have limited your cap space. So even if you clear out the money, I just don't see how you can go after Kenny. Now, they are talking, there was rumors that they were talking to New England about their wide receiver from 2019, who they took in 32nd overall. I don't see that either. He's only got like 400 yards over the last 2 years. Yeah, I know he's dealt with some injuries, but that would be a typical Gettleman move. And then I was thinking, I was thinking to myself, where could Golladay go? There's a lot of places. They're talking about the Colts, the Ravens, and I got a call from a friend who is a social media guy, a sports social media guy in Wisconsin. And he told me that the Packers were looking heavily into Kenny. And I said, well, they're like $9 million over the cap. And he said, you know what? But he goes, they are really looking to make a Super Bowl push in 2021 because they know Aaron Rodgers is not going to be around forever, and they really want to make that push. And he was telling me just briefly, you can extend Devontae Adams and get like another $9 million. You extend Rodgers, you can free up another 17. You extend what's his name, Desarius Smith. I wrote it down, but I probably wrote it down wrong. That's another $12 million. You extend Adrian Amos, that's $4 million. You release Preston Smith, that's another $8 million. You release Jordan Love, that's another $10 million. And you release Dean Lowry, that's another $3 million. So right there, they have $4,780,000. Just kidding. But, and that's what he was telling me. He's hearing massive rumors that he is going to go or is looking at Green Bay. And also would make sense because the fact that they're playing in the same division as the Detroit Lions. So take that from what it's worth. That's just from a social media guy. He does sports social media and he works in and around the Packers, but he doesn't, he doesn't have any, I wouldn't say he has a beat writer information. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of the beat writers are wrong most of the time as well. But like I said, I don't see Kenny coming to New York. I see Gettleman making a trade for a second or third level receiver. I see potentially them trying to find someone in the second to third round of the draft. But I don't see Kenny Golladay coming this way. And I'm not trying, and like I said, if he ended up in Green Bay, I would not be shocked. Now, one of the things I did want to talk about is the Giants' offensive line. Where are we going with this? Here's my problem. You release Kevin Zeidler, which is fine. I have no problem with that. Well, I do have a problem that they should have restructured the deal, but we're not going to get into that again. But you released him. So the problem is right now, where are you going for your starters and where are you going for your depth? Because right now you take a look at it. I mean, you have Cam Fleming's going to be gone, more likely. You lost Kevin Zeiler. Are we taking Nick Gates out of center and moving him back over to maybe the right guard position? You're going to hope that Shane Lemieux can progress, and you don't know. You're going to have a better idea what Andrew Thomas can do, and that's fine. I think Andrew Thomas will be fine. Only the two positions I find on the line right now that are solidified, and actually, I don't even think there's two positions on the line that are solidified. There's one position in the line I believe is solidified. And that's going to be left tackle with Andrew Thomas. I think the other four are open and open to interpretation. And that's kind of scary if you are concerned about Daniel Jones being your franchise quarterback. You're worried about giving him weapons, but you're taking away the wall that's in front of him. And you're giving him zero continuity. I'm not a Daniel Jones fan. But I am not willing to sacrifice him behind the line of Thomas, Lemieux, Hernandez, Gate, and maybe Matt from Connecticut. I'm not willing to make that sacrifice. Because I have a feeling if you go with this young line, that there is a grave potential that Daniel Jones could get killed. I mean that metaphorically. I don't mean that physically. I mean that metaphorically. And you worry about, and the focus has been so much on weapons. But the problem is, if he can't stay upright, all the weapons in the world are not going to save you. You have to hope that Andrew Thomas is going to progress and is real. You're going to have to hope that Shane Lemieux can continue the maturation process and figure out a way to pass block. You're going to have to hope that Nick Gates is either going to be your center of the future or your right guard. You have to hope that Will Hernandez can resurrect his career. You have to hope he's going to be the Lazarus man, arise from the dead, to be in that guard position. And then you are going to hope and pray that Matt from Connecticut is going to be able to take over the right tackle position. Then you're going to have to hope that players like Jackson Barrett, or what's his name? Bartone, I can't remember his name. Kyle Murphy, who's also there? Chad Slade, Spencer Pulley. I think Spencer Pulley's going to be gone. Jonathan Harrison. You're going to have to hope that these guys can back up the front five. This is a potential recipe for disaster on the offensive line. And all of this has to go back to our old buddy,
King of the almost sack.
Because we need to make the necessary cuts to keep a guy who for 5 years was good to pedestrian at best, and that is being polite, who 2 years ago had a half a sack and then had 1 11.5 sack season, and we have to hope that he is going to turn it around while we are decimating the line that is supposed to be there to protect your franchise quarterback. It's one of those things that it's lunacy at its. I mean, I look at it and I try not to look too deep into it, because you have to have a feeling that, that Dave Gettleman is doing something. I mean, that's the thing. You have to be like, okay, well, Dave Gettleman's got some kind of plan, got some kind of idea for this. But then, like I said, you look through this, and I just feel like
I'm taking crazy pills.
Because I'm like, am I the only one that sees this? You are concerned about your third-year quarterback. You are concerned about his maturation process into the elite status or better than average status. You are concerned about giving him weapons. But you're not concerned about the guys that are in front of him? There's only going to be limited things that we can do in the draft. There's only going to be limited things that we can do in free agency. I am not, like I said, I am not a Daniel Jones proponent. I have a feeling that he may not be here next year. But if you truly think he's the guy, he's your weapon, he is your Martin Riggs. That's his new name. We're going to call him Martin Riggs now. Waiting to see how many people know that reference. But he's your guy, but you're not going to give him the things that he needs to keep him upright. It almost reminds me of Carr. Carr's brother went to the Texans. That poor guy got sacked like 950 times in the first 4 years of his career. And people are wondering why he's gun shy. And I'm not saying this can happen to Daniel Jones, but we are at the point where we are sacrificing a large portion. We're sacrificing a large portion of the team for a guy who may not be the player that we think he is. That he could just revert to being who he was. And that's a scary proposition from the Giants' perspective. And you have to hope that Dave Gettleman knows what he. And it's a bad thing when you keep saying you have to hope that Dave Gettleman knows what he's doing. That's not a good way to start a sentence on everything. So, I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm trying to look at this logistically. You can't have $40 million in cap space. Even if you give 16 of that, even if Leonard Williams takes a friendly number in year one at $14 million, you can't still turn around and sign a wide receiver for $17 million when you have so many other holes on the line. We have so many holes on the offensive line. I mean, like I said, I see them going for second level talent because it's the only thing that makes sense. And then after we let Dalvin Tomlinson walk, we have to hope that Austin Johnson, B.J. Hill can turn around and fill his spot. I'm not filled with confidence that they can. But all of this is for Leonard Williams. And we don't even know exactly what we're getting out of him. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could subscribe, if you could ring that bell, I think you know what that means. That'd be awesome.